Hello, Southwest Florida homeowners and homebuyers. Welcome to the 239 Real Estate Roundtable podcast, your go-to source for navigating the vibrant real estate landscape of our beautiful region. I'm your host, Kevin Tremmel, a local real estate agent, leader, and investor here in Southwest Florida. On this podcast, we bring you insights from best in the business, top-notch real estate professionals, seasoned agents, and experts in everything from homeowners insurance to mortgages, maintenance, and repairs. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned homeowner, we've got you covered with tips, strategies, and valuable insights to make your journey in Southwest Florida's real estate market a breeze. Get ready to unlock the doors to successful home ownership. This is the 239 Real Estate Roundtable podcast, where we demystify the process, share insider knowledge, and ensure you're well equipped to make informed decisions. Let's dive in.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the 239 Real Estate Roundtable. Today, I am thrilled to introduce to you guys Tracy Henning. Tracy is the owner and founder of Porchlight. Porchlight is a platform designed to simplify social media marketing for real estate agents and help them generate more leads with ease. Tracy has over 30 years of experience in the real estate industry, and she's very passionate about empowering agents to build their brands and thrive in an ever-changing market. Welcome to the show, Tracy.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Me too. We're excited to have you. Why don't we get started? You know, you have 30 years of experience in the real estate industry, right? Can you kind of tell us about your journey and what inspired you to start Porchlight?
Yeah, so I'm going to just start off the top with a short story about, I often host master classes and webinars and stuff like that. And I had somebody comment in the comments one time and say, "What do you mean you've been in the industry for 30 years? You do not have a gray hair on your head." And so I replied to them, "I have a very good hairdresser."
Yeah.
It was quite funny. But yeah, I started in the business over 30 years ago. My father was a developer. So we talked about the construction industry earlier. And he used to bug me all the time about getting into it. And I'm like, "No, I'm too young. I'm too young." And I went down the route of university, got into my third or fourth year going, what am I going to do with my life? And I just kind of knew that I wanted to start making money. So I went to my family and I said, I think I want to be a real estate agent. And at this point, my dad especially was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure that's what you want to do?" And I'm thinking, "You're the one that encouraged me. What's going on now?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." So as I took the course, I was loving it more than any of the other courses that I had taken in university. So became a realtor at the very young age of barely being legal in my 20s. And, fortunately for me, when I started, I know this is going to sound funny, but I started when the market it was terrible. It was crappy. It was, the mid 90s. Things weren't, overly quick. So I got to learn real estate in a different way. So since then, I've worked in all kinds of markets, like slow markets, good markets, balanced markets, slow markets again, crazy markets like the one we had a few years ago. And I'm still in the trenches selling real estate, selling new construction, selling used houses too. And that's kind of how I got into the real estate, part of things. And then how I started Porchlight was I saw that there was a little bit of a gap in the industry. People would come up to me, and we had this conversation earlier, specifically this one story where this woman came up to me who was a former teacher. And she said to me, she's like, "Tracy, I was a teacher. I have no idea how to market myself." Like when you take the course, they give you the book, they tell you how to sell real estate, but they tell you nothing about marketing. So I was having more and more agents come to me within the office and ask me different questions, all the way from how do I open a lockbox to, how do I market myself? So when I was poking around in the industry, there just wasn't a whole lot out there. And I have always loved marketing. Too bad. If you can just visualize, I used to print out my own newsletters from, I don't even know what kind of computer I had. It was an old computer and it looked terrible, but I used to print them out, get them out there. And so I've always had a love of marketing, and it was just a natural fit for me to get or, create Porchlight, because I was having so many people, come up to me. They wanted to learn from my experience, and hence Porchlight was born.
Nice. And when was this? Like, what year was Porchlight born, so to speak?
So officially, we started in 2018, but officially in 2019.
Okay, 18, 19. And when all these agents were coming up to you, were you a broker, or people were just coming up to you because you've been doing it for so long and had a, probably decent amount of like business? Were you a regular sales agent, or were you a broker, or like, how did that transpire?
No, I was just a regular agent, but I accomplished some pretty cool things. I was the number one realtor in our office. The biggest one that I'm most proud of is I sat on our real estate board for 10 years. I became the youngest ever female president of our real estate board. So I've seen real estate like at that national level, and it's always fascinated me because I love to not just know what's going around my market, but also know what's going around kind of nationally. So I have kind of been there, done it all. Like I said, I've done commercial stuff. I'm heavily involved in the new construction industry. I was, like I say, always consistently in the top 10 within my marketplace, sat on the board level. So a lot of people, and then of course, my age, I know it sounds silly, but I had done a lot in the years that I've been in real estate. So people kind of wanted to know, like, what's your secret sauce? Like, how can I do what you're doing? So, I would do some armchair coaching with real estate agents. And then I just thought, you know what? I want to do this to be able to try and help more people than just the people in my office, because I've got nothing to hide. I'm an open book. And that was the tough thing within my industry when I started back in the 90s and the early 2000s. And it's even true to this day. Nobody opens up. People keep their marketing secrets close to their heart. And I just think, why? There is enough business out there for everybody. Why not help somebody out? I mean, if you can give them the tools, it's still up to them whether they're going to use those tools, but why not? So that's why I started Porchlight.
Yeah, awesome. Great story. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate it. So Porchlight, you guys provide several different services I saw on the website. Can you kind of highlight kind of the services you provide and how the different services help real estate agents grow their business?
So we kind of have a level entry, and then it moves up from there. So if you are somebody that is just getting into social media marketing, or you don't even know where to start, or you want to be more consistent with it, we have a super affordable membership. It's $7 a month. It's called iSocial for Real Estate. So we will text you your social media content for the day. So then that way it's kind of twofold. It helps people with that consistency and the convenience of it. So if you are busy showing houses, or you're at an open house and you get the text from us and you're like, oh yeah, right, I forgot to post. You can customize it and then you can post it on social media so you can get that consistency. We then also have another membership called Agent Social House, which is kind of our full meal deal type thing. We have all the content that you need. So we take it a step further, and everything inside of Agent Social House is done for you. So we've got the daily postings. We have faceless reels, because I know a lot of people don't like being on video. So we've created a whole library of faceless reels for people. We've got blog post content. We have emails. we have what's called our lead gen or our lead builder campaigns. So we put like a campaign together from starting from the top to the end. So we include lead magnets, opt-in pages, follow-up emails. So it's a full like funnel system that's included in the membership. Plus we have our personal touch. We have Zoom calls, coaching to help you with Canva, help you get your lead builder campaign set up. And then of course, answer any questions that you may have, like in general about anything. So we definitely have a ton of stuff within that membership. Then we also have a posting service. So if you're busy or you just have zero desire to do social media, but you know you have to have a presence out there, we have a posting service as well that can help you with, getting yourself out there and getting your branding out there and stuff like that. So, and then we also have a course. We have a course as well that can help you with social media, giving you the success path as to, well, where do I start? What am I building up to? So we definitely have a lot of different products and services that you can choose from.
Very cool. And the posting service, would you have to provide your own content and you would post, or like for that last? No, okay, you would also post.
So we do the content for you. So we provide the content and the captions. What we do encourage people, we still want people to be present on social media. So it's a great supplement if you want to post about your new listing or you're doing an open house. So the combo between the value that we bring with our content to what you're doing locally is a fantastic combination. So we still do encourage people to be present on social media, but we do provide the content when we're posting. So it's definitely hands off. Yeah. You just have to give us your social media handles and then we'll take care of the rest.
Yeah, I think two things that stand out to me. Number one, your entry level package or program for $7 a month, because, I feel like especially for new agents, the barrier to entry can be sometimes a little costly for a lot of services, right? So like you said, that you need to be on social media and you want to be on social media, but you don't necessarily have the budget yet to be committing to, I don't know, a 6 months contract at $750 a month kind of thing, right? So I think $7 is like a cup of Starbucks coffee nowadays. So yeah. I definitely think that's like a really cool way to lower that barrier of entry into the marketing world of real estate. And like you said, I mean, one thing that I'm noticing, with coming up on my second year and being on my own and funding my own company is in the beginning, you're a business owner, right? So you're doing everything. So and everything, doing it for the first time just takes so freaking long, right? I mean, just figuring everything out, getting your systems in place, it just all takes so long. So I think it's great that we have processes in place to, mitigate that, I guess, right? Because there's enough other things we got to worry about. So that's cool. And then I'm sure it also helps, you being a real estate agent for most of her career, and first and foremost, you see it in a different perspective than if someone that has a marketing degree, right? And you might see it from a different perspective, right? They might just look at the flashiest and fanciest marketing, but you're more about also price and then automating and making it easier for the agents. Yes. So that's cool. You've been in business for what, 7 years, 6, 7 years now? Do you have any kind of cool success stories maybe of an agent where, I know you mentioned a teacher, but for example, somebody in their mid-40s made a career change from teacher to agent, started at zero, and now they're, one of the top producers in the market. Do you have any cool stories like that?
I do. And probably one of the common denominators with the stories that I have is getting yourself out there and being seen by people, because I don't know how many times I've been in houses and I'm showing a house and I'm looking around. I'm like, hey, I know these people. I'm like, wait a minute, I know these people. Why didn't they call me? Yeah. And so specifically, we've had agents say that where they'll come like to the Zoom call and they'll say, I'm so excited. I got a listing. And we're like, great, it's perfect. And they're like, no, you don't understand. It was because of the stuff that I was posting on social media. Her particular seller said to her, the reason why I called you was the stuff that you were posting on social media, because I totally forgot you were in the business until I saw your stuff in my feed and said, hey, I'm going to give Debbie a phone call. And that's exactly how she got the listing. And she's not the only agent that this has happened to. I've had other agents said, oh, I picked up a buyer because, they saw me through the reel that I did, or it's just being consistent in getting in front of people. Because the difference between traditional marketing and modern marketing nowadays is you can be more targeted with who you're trying to reach. So before, you used to take a newspaper ad and it was super expensive. And it was just, you're putting yourself out there. You don't know if it sticks. Now, you can get super precise with who you're trying to target. The people that you're targeting is your sphere of influence because you're using your social media channels. So it's a lot easier. And for 90% of the time, it's free advertising. It's knowing how to use social media properly. And I see a lot of mistakes out there, but I also see a lot of agents that are doing really well. So, we're here to empower agents and show them what they should be doing versus maybe what they're currently doing might not be working. Mm-hmm. So, and then we have just that deeper understanding of what's going on in the marketplace. And don't get me wrong, we have professional copywriters. We have people that work with Canva that come up with our content. But at the end of the day, my eyes are always on that content, making sure that what's going out for our members is current and usable.
Yeah. You alluded to some of what were going to be my next questions. I was going to mention some, industry trends and things like that. So, you kind of hit on it, but what are kind of some trends you're seeing in the real estate industry when it comes to like social media marketing specifically?
So two things that stand out: getting hyper local. So getting focused on your local industry, but showcasing different businesses around you, different events that are going on in your area. Talking again about the newspaper, that's where we used to always go to find out what's happening in our area. Where do people go to find out what's happening in your area? So if you can get laser focused on your community, you'll do well on social media. The other trend that is essential is personal branding. People want to do business with people that they trust. So you need to put yourself out there and talk about the things that are going on, not only in your business, but in your life too. You want to be able to make that connection with people. So definitely personal branding and community is big on social media.
Yeah, I've been noticing that too. I think what I'm hearing you say is like, the best real estate agents that advertise on social media, they're not just showing houses, right? They're not just taking videos inside a house. It's more about top 3 things to do in XYZ city for dog lovers or like whatever it may be, right?
Exactly.
So that kind of stuff, or top pizza places for a late night snack, like whatever it may be, right? You're kind of showing more the lifestyle aspect, and that also goes your personal lifestyle, right? I mean, I think if someone would have said like 20 years ago, it'd be successful to just show like a real estate agent doing work on video, right? Like probably they would have been like, no, but just lifestyle behind the scenes, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
no, yeah. I agree with you. And that's why I tell people that's why HGTV is so popular. Mm-hmm. People want to see that behind the scenes. I had a member actually in our membership. She did a whole series of stories during her home inspection. And what was really cool, and of course, I always keep tab on our current members, so I was watching her stories. And what was really cool was the particular area that she was in, the home inspector that she used had this, I don't even know what it was called. It was like a remote control car that had a camera. that went underneath the houses. So she was showing how that worked. And I've never seen that before. We don't have that in our market. And I was like, oh my God, that is just so cool. So you can imagine the potential buyers and sellers that are watching this that are getting that behind the scenes glimpse as to what she does on a day-to-day basis, which just builds that trust, especially with people that have never maybe met her personally. So it was a really cool thing. And it was like, it's super simple. It's stuff you're already doing on a day-to-day basis. But a lot of people think, oh, my life is so boring. What could I be posting about? Well, there's so many things you could be posting about.
Yeah, I'm definitely a victim of that because I'm not like naturally like a social media person because I like me personally, like a lot of these things like I just don't care about. So like in my head, I'm like, why would somebody care about it when I show it? If I, you know what I mean? Like, I don't follow like influencers. It's just like, it's just another person, right? So like in my head, it's like, well, why would someone care about it if I post it, right? But you're right. You got to kind of like think outside of the box a little bit and like you said. So and then earlier you mentioned you see a lot of great things that agents do, but you also see some mistakes that agents make. So what are kind of some common mistakes you see real estate agents make when it comes to social media marketing and marketing in general?
So the number one thing that I see all the time is agents are selling constantly. So what does that mean? What do I mean exactly? If you go to their social media channels and you look at their feed, all you see is just listed, just sold, the award that I won, just listed, just sold, testimonials. Now, I'm not saying there's a time and a place for that. You can definitely do that, but that is not what you want your entire feed to look like. Because when people, believe it or not, when people are looking for real estate agents, the first place they turn to is social media. It used to be Google. People, like if you had a friend that referred you to one of their friends, that person is not going to Google anymore. They're going to your social media channels. So they want to get to know you before they even phone you. So how do they do that? Well, they look at what you've been posting. So if you're just posting nothing but real estate related stuff, they're going to go, well, what value does she bring? Like, I just don't see why she's so great. Whereas if you have a good mix of behind the scenes stuff of value, knowing the top 3 questions to ask your home inspector, those are the things that are going to draw people in and get to know, like, and trust you before they even pick up the phone. So it's your opportunity to win people over without talking to them first. Like I built my business off of open houses. Back in the day, I did open houses every weekend for 15 years straight. That was my go-to because once I got talking to people, asking the questions, I got to build that trust. They were like, hey, we have a connection. Let's go with Tracy. People still do open houses and they're still successful, but there are so many things that you can do on social media that gives you that same outcome without even having to meet people, So it's amazing the amount of people who are watching you on social media. You'll be surprised that somebody may come up to you and say, oh, that post you did was like hilarious, or it was like super helpful. And it was like, really? I'm like, oh, God, it's working.
Yeah. Well, I think what we agents this any industry, right? But like we do this every day, right? So I used to work with a lot of first-time home buyers. And what I'm trying to get at is like we do this every day. So like questions for us that are so trivial.
Yes.
For like the average person, it's like they have no idea. Right. So like in our head, real estate professionals, it's like, well, no one's going to care if I post this. This is like the most easy thing in our industry, right?
Yep.
To like the average person, unless you're in your 60s and you might have bought 5, 6, 7 homes, but like, people my age, like early 30s, late 20s, like it's so, and the stuff I get asked from first time home buyers, it's just like in my head, it's so like easy and trivial because I've been doing this for 7 years, but for them, it's like, well, I didn't know this, right? So it's definitely a good point. And so looking ahead, so you've been in business since 2018, 2019. What's your vision for Porchlight here for the next five years? Are there any kind of exciting updates or projects you're working on or anything you're excited about?
We had a big year last year. Actually, we incorporated AI into our membership. So we have a tool called Lumi, which is super cool. And this is all inside of Agent Social House, where one of the things that I always struggled with was coming up with compelling listing descriptions, especially when you have those listings that aren't that nice. How do you sell this to people? So Lumi, she'll definitely help you with that. You just have to put minimal amount of information, like maybe 6 bullet points, and she will come up with an amazing listing description for you. So we've definitely added AI into our membership. We've added our lead building campaigns, which make things super easy to get you started from the top to the bottom. But our ultimate vision is to make things as simple and automate as much as possible for people. So you're not spending a whole lot of time on social, like learning social media marketing or just in marketing in general. So we're trying to make it easier for people to be able to add that piece to their business because we're in the relationship building business. So we are best when we're in the trenches with our buyers, with our sellers. So having something working in the background for you to deliver leads to you directly, as opposed to relying on your brokerage or your office for leads or a third-party company where a lot of times those leads are cold, they might even be dead. So, going out and getting those leads for your business and doing it in a way where you can choose to work with your ideal audience. If you want to work with first-time home buyers, that's fantastic. Or if you want to work with veterans, amazing. We have ways that you can tailor your content that'll speak directly to them. Now, that doesn't mean that you're closed for business for anybody else. Like if your, door to your business is first-time home buyers, that's great. That's just the door that'll get people in. But like I say, it doesn't mean that you can't do empty nesters or single mom with 6 kids, But we have different ways that you can tailor your marketing to those people. So then when those things are running on automation, you're working with an amazing clientele because these are the people that you want to work with. Over the years, had questionable people that I worked with. I've had to fire clients, and it's not that often that I've done it.
Yeah.
But now I love the clientele that I work with. I get to pick and choose. And so it makes being at work fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point. Social media might be, well, obviously when you do Google ads and that kind of stuff, you can also narrow it down. But I feel like social media is probably one of, if not the best way where you can really tailor it and then pick and choose who you work with versus if you do a Google ad and you do certain demographics, you're probably still going to get outliers outside of that cone, right? So that's a good point. And, earlier you said you see one of the mistakes that agents make is they're just selling, right? Themselves, listings, awards, that kind of stuff. And you mentioned people need to be more post about other things too. Do you have a mix, like percentage wise? Like if you do on a monthly basis, how many posts, let's say you do 4 posts, right? For easy math, you do 1 a week, or let's say 8, 2 a week. How many of those posts should be real estate related, like listings, open houses, just sold, just listed? And how many of those posts, in your opinion, should be lifestyle related, community related, restaurants, places to be, things like that behind the scenes? Do you have a formula for that, or does it depend, or
No, general rule of thumb, 80-20. So 80% of the time that you're posting, be posting value, be posting things that are entertaining, posting things that are helpful. 20% of the time talking about your business. So if you equate that to a weekly, 1 to 2 times max that you were talking about your business. If you've got an open house that you're doing that you want people to come to, that like you can post about it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but you can also do it in a way that delivers value. You know, maybe the number one kitchen trend right now is a butler's pantry. And did you know I have an open house coming up this weekend where the house features a butler's pantry. So come by and have a look at it. So you've got that mixture of, you know, conveying value, but yet you're advertising it. You can still just do the traditional, I have an open house coming up on Sunday, 1 to 3, you know, come see me. If you're going to do that type of post, restrict it to only once, maybe 2 times a week. But if you can combine it with some sort of value, you can usually tend to get away with posting a little bit more. But usually if you can follow that 80-20 rule, 80% of the time you are delivering value, 20% of the time you're advertising your business.
Well, yeah, very great advice. And then I know this question is more hypothetically because nowadays it's so easy to automate. And if you post to one platform, you post to the other platform. But if, let's say, an agent comes to you and said, I only want to focus on one platform. I want to focus on one social media platform, and that is it. I don't want to post to multiple platforms, like whatever it may be. What social media platform would that be? And why? Like, would you pick Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram?
Okay. First of all, you sound reversed. You sound like me because the majority of agents that come to me go, oh my God, I got to be on TikTok. I got to be on Instagram. I got to be on Facebook. I got to be on LinkedIn, YouTube. Like, how do I do it all? And I always tell people you need to relax. You just need to be on 1 or 2 platforms. Get really comfortable with that platform, and then you can add on to it because people are going to see right through that. If you are everywhere, you're nowhere because people are going to go to those profiles and go, oh, Tracy hasn't posted here in like a month. Is she even in the business? Like, is she still a realtor? So you want to focus on 1 to 2 platforms. The platform, I mean, it's going to be up to the individual agent, but my general consensus is Instagram by far is, I would say, the number 1 platform either to be working on or adding to your portfolio. The reason why is it's the most diverse platform. You're going to have anybody from first-time home buyers up to retirees that are on Instagram. Whereas if you're on TikTok, which is not a problem, if you want to deal with first-time home buyers, millennials, those, you know, that's fantastic. But it's definitely more for the younger generation. Instagram gives you, it's definitely the most diverse. It is a very visual platform. So it enables you to showcase your listings and what you've been working on in a super simple way. So yeah, I would say Instagram for sure.
Yeah, I figured, but never know. Well, I figured it was between TikTok and Instagram, and I had never considered the last thing you said, like the demographics of each platform, right? Because I mean, my mom doesn't even have Instagram, but I mean, she sure does not have TikTok. You know what I mean? So like,
exactly. You know what, it comes down at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, who do I want to work with? Once you can define your niche, then you can go, well, where are they? Because you want to be on the platform that your buyers and sellers are on. So if you want to work with a younger demographic, then absolutely you need to be on TikTok. But if you are working with people that are downsizing or maybe people that are upsizing into a bigger house, then looking at the different demographics, you know, between the platforms will definitely help decide where I should be, like where you should be. So yeah, that's a great question because a lot of people, they just assume they see another agent who is crushing it on TikTok, or maybe they're crushing it on YouTube and they're like, oh my God, I need to do this. I got to relax. You know, I'll narrow you in. We'll rein you in. We'll figure it out. And then you can dive into that particular platform and, like I say, get really good at it and then add another one to your portfolio.
Right. Sounds like quality over quantity would be the name
Yeah,
of it.
100%.
Also, yeah, I mean, it's most things are, or a lot of things are like that, right? Quality over quantity. And so we're in January, end of January. So 2025 has just begun. So, December and January always tend to be goal setting months for most successful agents and, business planning, like whatever you call it in your business, right? But if you would give or could give one piece of advice to an agent looking to grow their brand and their business in 2025, what advice would that be?
Oh, that is a good one. Okay, you talked about December, January being goal setting, time to reset. Do the lead generating stuff during that time, because when those agents are taken off on vacation, their mind is somewhere else. Be that agent that's out there hustling those leads, trying to get those people into your sphere. So always have a clear, consistent plan, a plan of action of what you want to do, setting doable goals every month and then breaking it down into weekly goals. And then, of course, breaking it down into daily goals. Probably the biggest tip that I could give people is blocking out time for social media. If social media feels overwhelming for you, block out 15 minutes a day. That's it. And then build from there. Successful agents that are using social media like to its fullest do a lot of what we call batch creating. So they may spend a morning, you don't even have to spend the whole day. They may spend a morning doing videos, like making content. Then the next day, they'll spend maybe 2 hours editing those videos. And then the next day, they're doing something else. So making sure that you're having a plan that's doable for you. So if that's just like posting once a week, that's okay. Just setting the time aside to be able to do that consistently. So having a plan, having those goals, having a plan, breaking it down to bite-sized chunks will help keep you consistent. And then, of course, doing those lead generating things during the times when other agents have checked out, whether they're on vacation or they're focusing on something else.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Some agents that I'm friends with, they have their best months in December and January when everybody else takes off. They don't have kids yet, and so it makes things easier if you don't, if it's just you and your apartment on December 25th. But
and the work that you do now will pay off 2 to 3 months from now. So if you want to make sure that you are not having a slow winter, in the winter months, December, January, February, start doing the work in October, start doing the work in November to set yourself up for success. So, making sure that you're doing those things to enable you to have those busy times when people are sitting back and having a margarita on the beach somewhere.
Yeah. Or mulled wine in your case up in north.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, awesome. I found it super informative for myself. I definitely learned a couple things that I want to implement into my business. Now, if someone's interested in Porchlight and learning more, where would be the best place to start? Of course, we'll link everything down below, but where would be a good place to start to learn more about Porchlight?
Yeah, I mean, there are several different places. You can head to our website at porchlight.com. You can find us on Instagram at Porchlight. You can email me directly. I look at every email that it comes across my desk. So you can email me at tracy@porchlight.com. We are super responsive. So if you send us a message, we will definitely get back to you.
Awesome. Well, Tracy, I want to thank you very much for your time today. Like I said, I thought it was super helpful, great pointers, great stuff. And yeah, I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
I did. I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. You're welcome. Talk soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
And that wraps up another insightful episode of the 239 Real Estate Roundtable podcast. I hope you enjoyed our discussions and gained valuable knowledge to enhance your home ownership journey here in Southwest Florida. A big thank you to our incredible guests and of course to you, our listeners, for joining us. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, or if you'd like to connect, feel free to reach out. You can find us on Instagram at Kevin Tremmel _real estate, on Facebook at Kevin Tremmel Real Estate, or visit our website, kevintremmel.com. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Your feedback is crucial and we're always eager to hear from you. Until next time, this is Kevin Tremmel, your host, signing off. See you on the next episode.